got 3.
No, we're good. We got a quorum. I needed to consult something. That looked like a dum-dum. All right, ready? Excuse me. Will the audience be quiet? All right, let's call this meeting to order. Let's stand. But before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, this is the Palms West Athletic Association monthly board meeting for the month of September. Today is Wednesday, 25th, 2019. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are you taking notes?
No.
No? Yes or no?
No, I'm doing finance.
Oh, you're working. Okay.
The
That's funny.
best thing, Mike, get your phone, record
Yeah,
it,
and hit the record button. Yeah, it's doing double duty.
and then
All right.
afterwards.
Give me just a second. All right. Roll call. Mike Laverano is here. Robert is on the way. Terry, absent. Nicole,
Here.
Sam.
Here.
All right. General Board, Woodell is absent but excused. Tarisha? Adam? Joe is at practice coaching. Excused. Village of Royal Palm Beach, Mr. Steve Pointer.
Here.
All right, and I see we have a new member from the Village of Royal Palm Beach. Heard Steve is leaving us. I see how it is, Steve. Like soccer and baseball better, whatever. All right, we didn't have a meeting last month, so let's do reports. We'll start with Nicole, unless you want me to come back to
No,
you.
it's fine.
Okay.
So our checking account currently has $6,673. We have some very large bills to pay, including the Quick Cuts fee of $2,580,
Slow down.
the 6U football team fee of $400,
Yep.
and the TCFC badge fees,
How much is that?
$370. We also wrote $1,350 in refunds for several children ranging from 14U down to 6U. About half of that has been cashed. I'm still trying to get in contact with 4 other parents to confirm their mailing address before mailing it out. And we are also, let's see, I think that's all I have for now.
That's it. So you've obviously balanced all of our books to reflect the refunds.
Yes.
So that the amount is
It's worst case scenario for
Okay.
refunds. I deduct everything because I know it will eventually be cashed to make sure we have that amount of money in our checkbook. Also, the home game number 3 referee fee was cashed. I mailed that check out already, and that was cashed on the 23rd.
speaking of which, he did not send me the invoice yet. What was the amount on that?
$1,137. Do you guys like hearing a summary of the money we collect on home games at concessions, or are you not interested in that?
It's your report.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Just from now on, make sure you, I'll give all of you guys Brandon's email address.
Okay.
Make sure you email the financials every month to Brandon and the agenda and the meeting minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
To Brandon from now on.
Okay.
If you want to just do an overview, it doesn't have to be like crazy exact because it'll be exact on our
Right.
spreadsheet. But
So we're getting a lot better at collecting money at the concession stand, and we're making about $1,100 to $1,500, which pays for the referee fees. So we're
not breaking even anymore.
We're a little bit over our costs, and we're actually able to make enough money to pay for referees, which is the goal. After which would be large capital improvement projects, but I'll save that for another discussion. And I'm really excited to speak with the village about that in the near future.
Uh-oh.
So,
Sorry, Brandon. Sorry about that. I'll cover everything. during business. I don't want to go over it twice, so we'll move on to Sam Curry. Report?
Only report I have is we have homecoming coming up this Saturday. We'll have 5 games, ranging from 6U to 14U. Steve will reach out to the village to bring out the
Trash
divider.
receptacles.
Orange fence.
Oh, orange fence.
Yeah,
We're gonna
so
have
the
it.
divider little fence thing to make it better than the rope. Due to the fans, it should be a lot of fans. So I thought that would be better. Also, I need Steve to ask them to bring out the trash, the receptacle. They never brought it back when they took it for the Hurricane Dorian. So last game it was like a lot of trash left over due to us not having enough. Also, do I have the report about Day Late?
When are we gonna start registration? 'Cause if we're gonna start it next month, then
We're
can
gonna
just-
start registration in 8 in December. We do trials.
All right, so we're good.
So we good. All right, and Team Ruckers right now, I think 6U don't keep a record.
Not officially,
Not officially.
but if you ask the
8U
fans.
is 4-0, right?
Yeah.
10U is 4-0. 12U is 3-0, and 14U is 1-2, I think. Yeah, 1-2. So far all the teams are doing good. All the coaches are coaching. We had to remove a coach shut down 14U, so we replaced him with another coach named Marvin Curry that took over that team. Other than that, everything's been good, and I think this Saturday we having the national championship for the junior Pee Wee ring ceremony at 4:45. So if you guys like to come out. We also got a banner that we're gonna be hanging up. I can show you guys the banner right now.
Hold that up for the camera.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
This is homecoming?
They'll be going up on the school board.
Very cool.
I didn't know that was the score. That's impressive. Good job, Sam.
Thank you. We tried our best.
Oh.
Really, Adam?
Did the camera get that?
Yes. Is it on?
So that's something that we'll be doing at homecoming. Come out. If you hear me out there on TV land, come out Saturday. First game start at 11 o'clock. In between, your game will get over around that time. Hopefully you've been ahead run the clock. So your game normally get over at 4:45.
No pressure. No pressure.
So after your game, you will be able to see it because I know you want to see your son walk on and get his ring and everything. So also with homecoming, a lot of the parents will be walking on the field with their kids. A lot of the team moms had got things together as far as how they're going to do exact the homecoming. So when you guys come out there, you might see a lot of balloons, a lot of posters, and a lot of great things going on. This is our first homecoming, so hopefully it'll be a great one, and you guys come and support us.
All right.
I think that's all the reports I have. Do I have to report anything about postseason? Oh, that's new business.
Well, we'll cover it in playoffs. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen there yet. So, Steve.
Just bylaws.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an updated copy with the changes.
You want the changes in red or just no?
Doesn't need to be
Just all black and white.
update
Okay.
the all in one. So
Are you going to officially report?
Yeah, are you going to give your farewell speech or
not us, you guys. I still haven't got that update.
what's that?
But whenever you guys went from 500 members to
No.
5.
I'm talking about, are you going to officially
Oh, yeah.
Change it over?
Just to let everybody know, this will be my last meeting with you guys. Brandon is going to be the liaison from now on. He'll be taking over with you guys. So Brandon Pendergrass, these are the guys.
Nice to meet everybody.
All right,
How you
very
doing?
cool.
I think you know most of them.
Don't worry, we'll keep you busy. All right.
As long as you have the lights on, we're good.
That's it?
Robert, did you have anything that you needed to report?
No reports.
All right. All right, that concludes. No, it doesn't. Tyresha, you have anything to report? Mm-hmm. All right, just send it. If you can email it to everybody. Adam? Nothing, you're good? He hammers and nails? All right.
Oh, my bad. One more report. We have a pizza party Thursday for the whole league. A pizza party for the whole league.
Pizza party.
Yeah, for the whole league. For the whole league on Thursday night. It's
For the
on the
whole
homecoming.
league.
It's on the homecoming agenda thing they sent me. So, and that's
If you can you just,
after everyone get done practicing. No, I get done early because they got to do.
Here's some information.
They got to do. They got to do the dunk water.
He gets done late? He gets done late?
okay now. All right. Let's stay on task. You sure you don't have any more blurps? You good? If you can send the agenda so we can just attach it, send it to everybody. Just email it to me. So that way everybody has a copy. I would appreciate it. All right. On to new business. All right. So postseason. Has Jay given you any kind of dates or any kind of layout as far as playoffs for the playoff teams, like as far as what day it's going to start, bye weeks or seeding, stuff like that?
No, I just about to go into.
Well, for
It's not on the
regionals.
regional site.
Conference.
We talking about conference right now. The last game will be, I think, October the
Yeah, 12th.
12th. So they push everything up for the first round. So the first round I think will start October the 15th. It'll be 2 rounds and then the championship.
So that's
it'll be
a
16. So I
Tuesday
think,
night?
yeah, it'll be a Tuesday night game on the 15th, and then the 19th will be the second round.
Okay, so
And then I think October 26th will be the championship game in Port St. Lucie, unless they decide to change it. And then November the 2nd will be the regional first round. So they had to push everything up due to the regionals, starting November the 2nd. At first, the championship game was November the 2nd.
okay.
Will you guys be hosting at all?
As far as I know, no.
It's always in Port St. Lucie. Even the regionals, when you win the regional, you go right back to Port St. Well, if you win TCFC championship more than likely, you go right back to Port St. Lucie. They was thinking about doing it at Jupiter, but I don't know how true that was because they did it one year at Jupiter.
So we also know that, did they say what time they're going to play that second round game? Because that's a Tiny Mike day. It's the last Tiny Mike game is October 19th.
Dynamite game will be in Jupiter on October 19th.
So then they're going to do that second round there then, or?
I do not know.
Because the way they put the schedule is they can either put the game before or the game after. So I
But
don't
you know, Jupiter have like 3 fields, so they can technically do it
Okay.
and still have enough field. The
No,
Dynamite-
that would just, that's their last
game.
that's the last game of the
So
season.
6U started late with the season. They had
Right,
a week.
a week late.
So they got a week after everyone done. And then the Turkey Bowl will be after that.
Honestly, okay, so that covers playoffs. And there definitely should be a bowl game. The question is, I don't think we're going to have time to host that kind of thing. I think we're going to have to reach out to a Jupiter or something like that.
Yeah, so with the problem of us having 3 teams that capable of going forward, like you said, we won't have the manpower to host that because I think we'll be too busy with trying to play.
Well, it's just
But
it's a lot of
we
work.
do it on a Saturday, but we do it on a Saturday, like all the teams will be probably gone with regionals.
And every board member of ours.
And every
Be
board
gone.
member, in between
Somebody on one
8U to 12U, everyone will be like gone.
Okay.
So it'll be hard for us to host a 6U bowl game. So maybe you have to tell them we can't do it this year.
Okay. Because I know our parents are hungry for one. So we'll have to reach out to, for sure, Jupiter. I know the records don't look playoff worthy, and they have the capacity to handle a bowl game. So I'll reach out to Brad. Is there anybody? Well, we're actually in Port St. Lucie for a conference game and stuff like that. So maybe we can see if they can do something as well, since I'll be there. Anybody else you can think of, Sam?
With the bowl game?
Well, yeah, they could host. Like, I'm thinking that right now, record-wise.
no.
It's probably those two.
They might want to
Nah.
host.
Well, I guess it
But they like
depends.
they 6U, so they may want to host. Only team I think might go for that team is the 14U team. But
All right,
this only
so
team.
I'll reach out to Brandon and Brad from Gardens and. Okay, Moving on, elections and nominations for board members. Okay, so it's an odd year. So right now, so president, secretary, director, chair, and registrar are, your term is up the 31st of this year.
Ain't director of football up this year too?
Even years.
You sure?
Yeah, you and me are on the same.
Oh.
Yeah, I double checked. All right, so I need to
President, secretary, chair, and who else?
registrar. I don't know. He might be here. Whatever.
He's not paying any attention.
He's not paying any attention, clearly. Next year.
You actually just got elected, so she can't be up next year, right?
It's 2 years.
It's 2 years.
Next year, you'll be up.
Every even year, so it goes every 2 years. So you were, no, it's 2 years. The only one that's 1 year is, well, actually, if they're in general, they're actually 1 year appointments, according to the bylaws. So actually, anybody who's general should be a 1 year. So that would put your assistant director of football, even that village guy, director of fundraising, and director of scholastics. So any general is a 1 year, executive is a 2 year. So you need to add fundraising and scholastics and assistant football director is every year, and then it would be,
You still don't have a director of volunteer yet.
I think we ever had one.
It's on there.
But yeah, that's on there too. So right now for the executive spots, it's president and secretary. Yeah. So according to the bylaws, I need to appoint a chairman, Robert, because Nicole doesn't feel comfortable doing it. But you can bring her along as your help. So we got to do this official, right? So I got to put the motion on the floor, right?
Yes.
All right, so put a motion on the floor to nominate Robert Strout.
No, you can.
Right.
You can, as the president, you just nominate the chairman.
All right, so I'm going to
You may
nominate.
not nominate, you appoint the chairman.
All right, so Robert Strout, you're appointed. How you like that? You're appointed
Except or not.
chairman for the to receive for nominations and to conduct. Yeah.
When do the nominations open?
So the nominations are open now. They have to receive our last ones by the end of October, which is our last board meeting.
Okay.
And then the first 2 weeks of November is when we will count the votes, do the voting, and then count the votes. And then after that, once everything's done, you announce who won. So from there, you choose 2 other committee members. So she already I volunteered her.
Yeah.
So you only need 1 more.
And Sam will be voluntold.
Oh, jeez. I have no chance of getting out.
So we can go ahead and secure the president's spot now.
Yeah, I guess, right?
I mean, you can take nominations right now.
Yeah. Well, I appointed you, so now you can receive.
Is there a nomination for president?
You can nominate somebody else
Yeah, you can. You don't have to nominate
yourself.
this ugly guy.
I nominate Tarisha. Oh, my bad.
All right, come on. Be serious. Are you going to nominate me or not? Okay.
No, I take that bite.
It can come from anybody.
No, it can come from Mike. It can come from anybody. It can come from Lincoln.
I could throw my name in the hat, but I'd rather just see who. I want to see who.
I nominate Mike
Well, which Mike?
Brano.
Oh, okay. All right, so you have your first nomination. Does he accept? He doesn't have a choice. No.
And
So we
what
gotta
was
do
the other one up? Secretary?
Secretary is up.
We have to do our nomination right now?
No.
No. You don't have to do any right now. I'm just saying
Right,
it's
but
open.
he's eligible to receive.
There's just no reason not to nominate him right now, but nobody's going to nominate Terry. Her husband's like, nope.
I'm looking for nominations for vice president. Steve, you interested?
Yeah, right. Since you're leaving us. All right. So just to hold on a second. Just to for receiving the nominations, it can be by mail, Fax, really? We gotta update that.
Do we even have a fact?
No. Or email?
So when you update the bylaws,
Yeah, I gotta take that. I just noticed that too.
you might want to vote on that real quick.
And I guess, does it make sense to also let parents know
Yes.
they have an opportunity?
So I would put it in all the group meeting stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to cast the wide net.
Yeah, just let them know this is what's open.
Let Nicole come up with the You don't know.
I would be happy to draft some language to be circulated to the parents.
Me? It can't come from me. I'm ineligible.
I can,
The chairman has to do it.
yeah, we can do it. Or my designate.
If I do it, then that means I can't run.
It's on it. It,
You guys could have a position for community service, because I know you mentioned community service, so you guys could have like a.
I don't, we'd have to change the bylaws on that. We'd have to take a vote and have it.
that can't be, that technically could be director of volunteer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that whole whenever Mike
Wallace.
So that what you want to be?
Mike Wallace put that in there. That was the whole concept.
Was community outreach?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I nominate Tyresha to be director of volunteer.
So that means that's over the concession and everything, right?
As over
Any
getting volunteers.
volunteer.
No, it's over the,
What?
it's over the volunteers of concession.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's something that we're lacking. That's something that we have to pull double duty on. So definitely having a coordinator for all volunteers would be amazing.
That means you have to come to the games and make sure the volunteers are there.
But it's,
Do you want a brief summary of the director of volunteers? That's fine. So, not you're responsible for all volunteer activities for the league. So it's going to include people for concession, scoreboard, chain crews. This is interesting. We have to start. We really should enforce this. No. You're not going to like this. Actually, in the past, that if we didn't have people volunteer, we actually forced the head coach to come into the concession stand and jump on the grill and do all that while your team plays. Yeah, that was Dominic's idea.
That was meant to, that would put the pressure on.
That was the point.
to actually
That was the point.
Does your head coach want, all right, your head coach has to come in and work concession then since we can't get a volunteer.
Yeah, exactly.
Get him off the field.
I think that's easy for me.
How's this dumb play?
No, we don't have to change that. It's this and that's in black and white.
No, I'm saying the bylaws. We can't any other bylaws. Like we can't.
You can change it. We'd have to vote on it.
We can change.
Yeah, we can update.
Just put a motion in to change that in the bylaws, and people will vote on it.
Right, so what we have to do is, you put a motion in, and we'll vote on accepting the motion to change the bylaw, to draft up a change for the bylaw. Then we'll draft up the change, and then we have to present it at a meeting.
Well, can I put a
And
motion?
then
All right, can I
present
put a motion in to change the responsibility of the director of volunteers?
What do you? Okay. Right. You
Want
want to update
We
their
want to do more
responsibilities.
community outreach.
Okay.
So we want to add that too.
Add in the community outreach. Okay, so I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed?
nay.
None opposed. Okay. So that was I thought I put this thing on silent. Yeah. It is. All right. It's freaking parents. It is.
Okay, so
So that was a unanimous. Just make sure that we note. Can you note that the motion was approved and that it was a unanimous. Give up.
Can somebody get Robert a larger pencil?
Listen, that's all you guys provided at the door. These golf pencils. Hold on, now we have to put it on the floor and discuss what we want to change.
So
So now it's on the floor, it's open for discussion to amend the Director of Volunteers responsibilities. So as of right now, they include volunteers for concession, chain crew.
So I think the only thing that needed to be done is he wanted to add verbiage for community outreach.
Okay. And then what's gonna entail community outreach?
Community service.
Kind of like what we talked about as far as doing like a.
Like, yeah, can we get like a description, like a sentence
Something
or?
like that.
Yeah.
She want to do turkey.
But we have to see what our target is, so if our target gonna be children, it's gonna be environmental needs, like what's our target? We can do a beach cleanup and they'll provide us with potential for, or we can do like a family fun day, and that can be community outreach. It's so many different things, we can, our target can be families, that's the turkey, that's the giveaway. We don't know what our target is, or are we gonna have a target?
We can discuss that later.
Yeah, I mean, in the bylaws, you're not gonna be specific.
No, I just wanted just a statement, you know,
Or an example.
Community service?
like a community outreach and community service.
Community service, like the boys do.
All right, so community outreach and community. Service. All right, so we got to vote on that, right? Do we have to vote on that verbiage or no?
Well,
We already
so what'll
voted on it.
happen is someone, we can designate somebody to draft up the verbiage for that change. Once that.
So we got to get it back and then vote on
Yeah,
it. All
then we
right.
vote on the verbiage to approve that, then we present that, once we vote on it, then we present it to a general meeting. Yeah, I don't know what our bylaws say, but it might be one or two general meetings where we read it out, that these are the.
It could be a
projected
workshop.
changes.
Yeah, it'll be a workshop.
And then we can send it out and do a vote through the membership.
Okay.
Do you want to define like minimum community outreach activities per season, per quarter, in the bylaws? Because also, I mean, these are,
That's like
it's
probably-
like non-funded mandates. It's like, oh, do this, but nothing's going to happen to you if you don't.
True.
Which nothing will happen to you if you don't. But it's good. I always like to have a goal so I can work towards
All
it.
right.
So
So
minimum of 2 per season.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't know that we do it per season though, because we're
Like,
tied up
per
enough
group.
during the season. I think it needs to be either.
an off season.
Per year?
I think it should be an off-season thing.
Like PWA wide.
I mean, between practices, I mean, listen, we're a full year organization, even though we only, our season is.
Paperwork
you know,
don't stop.
Right, we're constantly in contact, even during the off-season, we're, especially as a board, we're trying to come up with new things or whatever, so.
But that's the reason why we.
Well, we could do it
created-
like, say, for example, during our camps and stuff, when the
But I
kids are
thought
already
this is the reason why we created the new board, because we supposed to have one for fall for part 1 and then one from 8 on 8, and then it was supposed to be one for flag. But I don't know if we still doing
Yeah.
flag. So I thought that was the reason why we created the board the way we created it.
We're doing fine.
Yeah, they're doing.
So we're
Right.
not doing flag no more. They doing flag.
Right.
So
So it'll be 8 on 8 and then Pop Warner.
But it's still
so
under
are
the
we?
Palms Authority.
Is it director or volunteer gonna be placed on the part 1 or is it placed on just PWAA?
All of our stuff is PWAA.
No, the new one that we had in motion.
He's talking about general versus
Another-
executive,
yeah.
so that we were gonna try to have general members to just, like, for example, 8 on 8's needs are different than Pop Warner. Like, you don't need scholastics, you don't need a registrar,
Right.
for example, for 8 on 8.
Okay,
So I'm trying to see.
What he's asking, is that gonna be, do we need
so you're talking
2?
about general board.
That one should
general
be
meeting.
both.
So I'm thinking the director of volunteer will be.
Yeah.
Are we gonna? It's gonna be
For 8 on
both.
8,
think it should be
yes.
both.
Right.
Okay, so we need to make sure we know that it's both, not just.
Right.
You
And
still
the
want
idea
it?
of having the
So
community.
that's for like one for fall, one for spring, and then one for summer.
We can we add someone for spring? We just gonna use one.
I think we can do it, because even with Christmas, that's outreach too. Remember we were trying to grab the kids to come and we couldn't get them.
I think it's important to have one point of contact.
Us, like to do it for the kids, like even.
I'm more concerned about the kids, us doing it too, but I want the kids to get their name out there as far as when the news say they see the Royal Palm Beach Wildcats. kids.
It's actually, it's
plus,
exercising our goals and having the kids actually execute.
Yeah,
whatever our
because they
vision
need
is.
community service anyway, so they need to start at an early age.
So it'll be for them like to kind of just stay with us throughout, so it's like,
Right, but it doesn't have to be the entire, but we're not, I mean, we can ask, but the invite is for the entire league, but we don't need the entire league to show up.
Yeah, we don't need
160
100 kids
to show up.
to-
We need, 10 or 15 kids to show up.
and this would be something that you guys will want before the season even starts, like.
So we can start doing it in the summer then, so more
Right, so
outreach in
pre
the
and
summer.
preseason would be the smartest time because they're
Or do something around Thanksgiving or Christmas if we have the availability to do it, because based on teams and playoffs and stuff like that. But we can do something like like you said, a turkey giveaway or something like that.
And you guys will want to partner with other organizations and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay, no, that's.
So, example, like when they have a bike to school, we don't necessarily have to do a bike to school giveaway, but when you know someone having a bike to school giveaway, they need volunteers. We can get, especially our bigger boys, to go and help with their jersey on. Because I know I do that with my flag football girls. Boosts do a big bike to school giveaway. They need like kids to come out there and volunteer to help with passing out the book bag, stuff in the book bags with things and different things like that. So we can get the boys to come out there with their jersey on and different things like that. So it don't have to just to be us doing it. We can go and volunteer our kids at other organizations. So like even your organization, when you do the father, whatever you do, the boys can come help with setting up. So I just want them to be involved.
Now,
Yeah, that would be easy.
yeah, and that'll include like when we do the Christmas parade.
That's another
All
thing.
under the part of that would be.
right because we always do that as outreach to get our name out there and stuff like that.
That would be
It's
under
like
your.
one each quarter, it's 4 quarters.
Yeah, we can do one each quarter. I think that a better idea, one each quarter.
Right, just one, I would say, flagship event per quarter, but definitely I would want to focus on that summer and then probably look towards the holidays.
Right.
Would be the safest time slots, and the safest would be summer during the camps.
And we can discuss more,
Right, so we'll have to definitely set up a workshop for that.
for a workshop as far as.
Because Royal Palm doesn't go back to school back, We're not allowed to. Royal Palm, the village is not allowed to, or it's just something we never.
Just never something.
No, we just haven't done it.
Can we charge for parking? Just turn it into a fundraiser.
He knew the answer.
That would be cute if we did that at school.
Right.
We can accept donations for parking.
Oh, I'm sorry, can we accept donations for parking?
Can accept donations for anything.
Okay.
Well, not anything.
May I have a
Careful
copy?
with that.
May I have a copy of all these? All right, so we gotta leave that open until we actually draft the verbiage and finalize the exact job responsibilities. I don't know right now with homecoming stuff going on. I don't want to set a date this week, but let's get through homecoming and then we'll set a date. We can just meet at the field and hammer out the details.
Are we allowed to revise any other part of the bylaws
We would
since
have-
it's now open
So you can draft a change for any bylaw.
for anything?
And
Okay.
then it just has to be
Approved.
by the board,
Right.
and then read out in a meeting, and then we vote on it through, we can do it through the
Okay.
group me, or we can do it, whoever's president, however it works.
Okay. Okay. And then just two other items I wanted to discuss with you guys is identifying one method of communication with communicating with the parents and the board. It's either text message, group me, WhatsApp. I mean, there's so many
Right.
forms for each age group. I think we should think about it, what we want to use.
Choose one and
tell
stick with
the
it.
coaches, that's what you have to do.
Well, the only thing with that is different coaches use different methods to communicate. And it's not necessarily the coach, it's the team all.
Yeah, but the problem
Need
is,
to be one
if
consolidated
you're okay, somebody on your staff, right, uses GroupMe, and then you have a kid on Adam's team and he uses WhatsApp, and then you have another team that just does a group message. You have kids in every program or family in every
So
age
what
group.
you trying to
So
say?
you might have 3 or 4 different groups that you're dealing with. If we just made it mandatory that, hey, this is what we use as an organization, that everybody, because you're gonna have to download it. If Adam uses WhatsApp and you have a kid on Adam's team, you're gonna have to download WhatsApp even if you use GroupMe. But if we say, this is what we use WhatsApp, everybody on our league downloads WhatsApp.
But everyone will have their own separate groups, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but we gotta
not
use
one
one provider.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't know if, I don't know if I'm suggesting, but
I think that's more professional courtesy.
professional, but that is the criteria that should be, and also, Mike, you have to have something that you can look in each group chat, because you have to be able to review what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe we can put something in there that include the board and, you know, and each.
Well, we can set up, we can set,
It is.
Technically
No,
not,
not
because
14.
we don't have nobody in 14U.
And nobody,
I don't. I'm not in 14U. And no, I'm in all the group chats.
so maybe we just
I'm not on
appoint,
6U.
Yeah.
appoint a member then, right?
Or we're just when you, you know, each year as you do it, just have that, the team parent that sets it up include the board so that we can all monitor, you know,
I
what's going on.
love that idea.
I think that's,
Because there's so many things that are happening that I don't know about.
If we appoint a board member, they'll take a lot of pressure off me.
So I know, it does.
So,
And
I
that-
actually agree with that one.
Sam, the whole point of me joining the board
everyone-
was to get some of your
everyone comes-
responsibilities off of you. So whatever we can do.
Because, you know,
Yes.
sometimes some of the stuff from mine brings from you, and then that's when words get twisted.
and that's another thing we have to do as a board though. We have to, if there's something that we need to address, we need to have a you know,
Hierarchy.
a conversation about it, and then one person can send out, you know,
It's like a communications director of the executive board.
Well, I'm gonna say this about Mike
Supposed to be
did
me.
try to do the group.
Supposed to be me.
Mike did try to
It's on the board.
Mike did try to do the group me, but I don't think that went too well with the board because we don't communicate on the group me. But Mike did set up a group me.
Well, the problem is
That's
we
something-
don't use it all the time. So
We just gotta get into a habit.
send one group me message, and then the next day somebody sending a
Send a
group
text
text
message.
message. You know, that's like
But we don't have to figure this out now. It's just something. we
No, but
need to think about.
whatever we use to communicate for us, we gotta do something that has multimedia capability.
Yes.
So
whatever it
group me
is-
might not be for the board, but as for a league to communicate with parents and players and stuff like that, I think is sufficient.
Yeah, your team's not limited. You can't really
Yes.
two-way conversation. It's just like
Actually, it's like 3 or 4 ways to communicate on Team Snap.
Team Snap.
Yeah, you can do direct messages like group me. You can do posts. You can do alerts where it goes straight to your email. You actually can do more on Team Snap than you can do on group me. You can do the schedule. You can do a lot of things.
It's pretty in depth. I've seen it before.
Quick though.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
is it
just as
instant?
quick.
Yeah.
Trust me, it started with Mike them. They were Marjorie got it from because she got it from
Yeah, we used to use Team
Mike
Snap.
Milson. But it's actually, all right, I don't mind which one we use. So are we gonna vote on that or?
Well, no, we gotta draft up the verbiage and
No, it's just
and settle on the
future
responsibilities.
action items to put on our
Yeah,
plate.
so that one's open.
Okay, so
We
all
can
new
put- we
business.
can draft up something on that. We'll go through the bylaws.
And then something else I would like to transition to is a cashless program. You know, getting parents to pay with a credit card, getting them to pay online. I don't want your money at the concession stand. I think that would result in more profit for the program. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but that's something that I am passionate about. So. For registration and even at the concession stand, it's just having that much cash presents a lot of room for error, and I would like to reduce that.
Well, good thing we have a volunteer director that has somebody in the concession stand who we can trust.
Yeah, only problem with, go ahead.
Or at least encouraging.
We can. I think we can
Cards.
encourage it. I don't know that we're ever going to be cashless.
Just because they're gonna give them $2 and send them
I
up to the
think
concession stand.
The other thing that I think that does is, listen, when they pay us cash, they pay that cash is ours.
Right.
If they pay us by check or even a card, they can always call the bank and then now we're.
On top of that, there's a processing fee for every electronic transaction, so
3%. I know we do lose
yeah,
that.
2.75%.
Okay.
but
The
it adds up when you,
it does, but there's
because if you look at the end, when I looked at the
Delta.
financials at the end of almost every season, it's well above $500 to $600 just for processing. That's registration alone. That
I
doesn't
think
count.
you're doing a great job so far with managing the money. So
I'm trying.
Yeah,
It's hard.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that we
Mm-hmm.
open ourselves up a little bit more for
We might.
flawed system.
Mm-hmm.
Where it, because like I said, somebody writes us a check, they can cancel it. Somebody, whereas if they pay us cash,
It's
we have to
ours.
go through a
Right,
refund
we're not getting
now,
it back,
a
yeah.
refund process.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So it's. I understand
Maybe
what
we
you're
can
saying, but
revisit
it's-
it next year, but
Yeah.
it's something I'm interested in.
I mean, maybe in a registration situation, possibly we can encourage that, but well, we started late. All right. let's move on to old business. I don't know. I'm not on the homecoming
I went
committee,
over homecoming already.
so we kind of already touched on it. We have anything additional than what Sam has already covered?
Anything additional about homecoming that we need to talk about, Nicole?
Can you just cover the?
I'm gonna go over.
What about the homecoming dance?
I'm gonna go over my opinion, and you guys can take it or leave it. But I think with the homecoming, especially with passing out like Mr. Homecoming, my opinion. I know I'm gonna get shot down, but my opinion is a board member's child should not be eligible to win, especially if we're giving
Free registration.
free registration for a couple reasons. One, for the free registration, but also the perception of our kids winning something
I actually agree with you.
is
Well, we look like we rigged it.
it
That's what he's trying to say.
the perception is bad.
I agree with that.
The only reason Sam is the commissioner, so that Samari Curry can be
I
Mr.
don't think that our kids should be eligible to win any type of award that we're giving out, because it does look as if it was, that's because their dad is this or their mom is that. It shouldn't be that way. So I think as board members, our kids should be exempt from receiving any awards.
That's the same, well, that's coaches and team moms, because the team moms are the ones who are collecting the money, and that's also a conflict as well.
She making a point.
You take out board, you gotta take out coaches.
And team moms too.
Most of the team members are very good.
But the team mom child don't.
I don't think that we have to take out coaches, because the coaches don't have a decision on the board on
Or unless he's
these
a-
awards
unless
being
he's a
made,
board
unless he's a
member.
board member. You know what I'm saying? So if a head coach comes to me and says, "Hey, I want my kid to win this award," or he comes to Sam and says, "Hey, I want my kid," okay, well then tell your kid to go raise the money to get the award, or tell your kid to work hard during the camp to get that award. You know what I mean? It's not, maybe, there are some things that maybe, I think definitely as a board member that our kids should not be eligible.
But that's the same thing. Anyone, even if it's not the team mom, but whoever is collecting the tickets.
I get what she's saying as far as with the team mom, because they can easily say that the team mom rigged it because they collecting the money.
Right.
But at the same time, it's too late for us to do that, because we should have said that announcement early.
Right.
At the 2 meetings
I
ago
think
when we
it's
first came
too
up with the
late
idea.
for the team mom this year. We can do that next year or something like that, but it's not too late for the board members' kids to be exempt.
You don't sell a lot of tickets.
I got money, but I don't even got the tickets. So we're just giving money. So it's not like we can collect the tickets.
The other thing, other way possibly around that is and it's probably a good practice to do it anyway, is to have somebody else check and double count. So the team mom counts and somebody else counts as well.
Well, we have the
Double checks.
we have the team
there's
mom
two.
meeting with Nicole, and they supposed to be getting her the tickets.
Right. So then
Because we have the team mom. It's a fundraiser, but we have the team mom meeting with.
that kind of backs up the
But
team
I don't know
mom.
how far I don't know the
Whatever
report.
unsold tickets have to be turned in,
And I think tomorrow night is the last night to turn in tickets. So you may
Thursday.
be up.
So if Nicole's counting as well, that kind of backs the team mom up. So it kind of
reduces that
I
conflict.
wouldn't worry about the team mom as much, but the board member is
For sure, yeah, I agree.
So homecoming is
Can't win 'em all.
Saturday. Do I have to say the teams we playing? We all good with that part.
No, just
That's old business.
the times real quick.
11 is the first game. That's the 6U game. 1 is the 8U game. 3 is the 10U game. 5 is the 12U game. And 7 is the 14U game. Please make sure the lights be on, because last game the lights wasn't on.
Till
Thank
10.
you. So please, Brandon.
They're on till 10.
Okay, double check that.
You got like some volunteers over your way?
And the homecoming is hold on, we ain't asked for audience here. the homecoming is a blackout, so it'll be all black. That's the last little bit. Oh, the homecoming dance will be at the rec center from what the time?
5 to 10.
5 to 10, right? 5 to 10.
Your team.
Your team play at 3:00. Your team play at 3:00. Let them kids, you playing Morning County Silver, Navy, the sorry one.
There's no team, sorry, stop it.
You right.
Well, nobody.
So that's the end of homecoming. Mike, you can go to the next one, so we can get out there.
No. Can we have all the trash receptacles brought back to the
He
field?
just, I already have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I haven't.
Because there's nothing. And if they get the recycling ones too.
Yeah, I think
All
we're the
right,
last
public. Lincoln, you have any comments? No comments from the public?
There's nothing.
All right.
There's nothing you can do. You can call the shit, you know, I mean,
Anytime you see them, just call the sheriffs. That's all you can do.
See what?
Hey, call the sheriffs when I get done adjourning this meeting, please. But can I get a motion to adjourn? Yes, I did. You weren't listening. You were talking.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Third. Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, see you October 23rd, 2019, 7 p.m. Thank you.
Welcome, Brandon.